Okay, so 6.3, solving multi-step inequalities. So again, it's almost like solving, same process as solving an equation. So we have learned how to do a basic addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. And the big thing is to remember, any time that you are dividing or multiplying by a negative, you have to flip that inequality. So let's go ahead and get started. The first type, 3x minus 7 is less than 8. Okay? So remember, the last thing you're going to do is deal with this x. So you get rid of everything else that is not with the x first. So I've got a minus 7. I'm going to add 7. That means I have to add 7 to this side. So this is gone because minus 7 and adding 7 is going to give you a 0, right? So 3x is less than 8 plus 7 is 15. And then we have multiplication. 3 times x is multiplication, and we know that division undoes multiplication. So to isolate the variable x, we have to divide the 3 away, and we do that. And it's a positive 3. So we don't have to worry about flipping an inequality because we're not dealing with a negative. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. X is less than 15 divided by 3, which is 5. So again, we want to graph it. So quickly do your number line. Put 5, put 6 here, 4 here. And then I'm going to change color because it makes it stand out a little bit better. So let's go ahead and use red. So 5 is not included. So I'm going to do a nice big open circle. And you can see it's facing down the number line. The way this arrow is pointing is the way that you're going to graph. So go ahead and do that. And anyone reading that would understand that all the numbers are included, but not 5. So there we go. So let's go ahead and move on to the next type. Negative 0.6 multiplied by x minus 5, and the parentheses is less than or equal to 15. Okay, so we have parentheses here. Anytime you see parentheses, if you can't combine terms, I can't combine x minus 5 because they're not the same. That means that it's called the distributive property. So I'm going to have to multiply what's on the outside to both things, right? To the x and to the negative 5. Also, I know that this is going to include because it's less than or equal. So let's go ahead and multiply. So negative 0.6 times x is just going to be negative 0.6x. Then negative 0.6 times negative 5, and here you can use your calculator, but remember a negative times a negative is a positive. And I think in terms of fractions, so I know it's 3/5. And that's going to go ahead and cancel the 5s and give me plus 3. Then less than or equal to 15. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract 3. So negative 0.6x is less than or equal 15 minus 3 is going to give me 12. Okay, and so everything's good now, but here's where I have to be careful because now I'm going to divide by a negative 0.6. So remember, the rule is when you divide or multiply by a negative, you have to flip the inequality. See how it's this way? So now you're going to flip it so it goes the other way. So a positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative. And we can think about this. If I were to move this here, that means I'm multiplying by 10. So you could think about it as 6 divided into 120. But like I said, you can use your calculator. So x is greater than or equal to negative 20. So real quick here on the number line, again, put your negative 20. negative 19, and negative 21. So it includes negative 20, and you can see it includes the numbers going up the number line. So close circle and then going this way. And the nice thing about having this recorded is you can always rewind it or move it to wherever you need extra help. So I like that. That's why I record these things for you. All right, let's do a fraction because I just know that you love fractions. Okay, let me get rid of this. Okay, popping up on the computer. Okay, so here we go. Your favorite, negative 1/4, parentheses, p minus 12, close the parentheses, is greater than negative 2. Okay, so this is great practice. All right, so we know that this is going to be distributed. So a negative 1/4 times p is just going to be a negative 1/4 p. Can't do anything else with that. A negative 1/4 times a negative 12, so you think 1/4 of 12 would be 3, and a negative times a negative is a positive 3. So that gets rid of the parentheses and makes it easier to solve. Greater than negative 2. Alright, so now we're going to subtract 3. Okay, and we've got negative 1/4 p is greater than negative 2 plus negative 3 is going to give us negative 5. Okay, when you are multiplying or dividing by a fraction and a negative number, remember the inequality is going to change. Now the quickest way is to do the reciprocal. I know you've seen that. I'm sure Miss Carter's shown you, and I showed you a little bit the first week. So if it's just one fraction, just do the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of negative 1/4 means that you get the same sign, negative. Instead of 1/4, the reciprocal is 4/1. So here I have to do the same thing, negative 4/1. Okay? And the reason I'm going to show you why this works. So here I've got a negative 4 times a negative 1. That's going to be a positive 4. And then on the bottom, if I multiply 1 times 4, I get 4. So do you see? I'm just showing you why this works. You are multiplying by the reciprocal. So in other words, you're flipping the fraction. So when you multiply the top and bottom, you get the same number, which reduces down to 1. So that's why doing the reciprocal always works. Okay? So this is gone. So now we have p, but remember we multiplied or divided, doesn't matter here, by a negative, so we have to flip the inequality the other way. So it's going to flip this way, and then negative 5 times negative 4, you can think about this over 1, but 1 doesn't change anything. And all numbers, no matter what they are, even when we say 20 or 15 or negative 7, you can actually write them as fractions because they're over 1, but nobody just thinks about them that way. So every number is actually over 1. Alright, any whole number or integer, I mean. So this becomes 20. So p is less than 20, so real quick, do a 20, a 21, a 19. We know it does not include that number, so go ahead and make an open circle. And then go ahead and draw it down the way this is facing. So the way that the inequality is heading, it's almost like a spear here, that's the way that you graph. So either you're going further down the number line, more negative, or you're going up and it's becoming more positive. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and remember it's multi-step. So now we're going to have variables on both sides. So here's a nice one to practice on. We're going to solve 6x minus 7 is greater than 2x plus 17. So, and then the instructions always say to graph. That's why I keep graphing them. Okay, so again, it's just like solving an equation. We've got a 2x here and a 6x here. So it does not matter which way you move the x's, but I always like to make life easier. So especially in math, I look for the easiest way. So it's easier to deal with positive numbers than negative numbers. So I prefer to subtract 2x from 6x rather than subtract 6x from 2x, which will make a negative and make more work. So I'm going to go minus 2x. So this is the inequality. You can almost think about it as equal sign. So once it goes across that inequality and you take the whole thing across, you have to change the sign. So that means I'm going to subtract 2x here. So it cancels this whole thing from this side. So 6x minus 2x is 4x. Minus 7 is greater than 17. Okay, so then remember the last thing we're going to do is take care of the x. So we get rid of everything so that we can isolate that x and find out. X is a number. We're trying to find out what number works to make this true. Okay, so plus 7. So plus 7. So now I've got 4x is greater than, what is that, 7 and 7 is 24. Okay, and now we are going to go ahead and divide by a positive 4. So since this is positive and it's not negative, we don't have to worry about flipping the inequality. So x is greater than 24 divided by 4 is 6. So again, they want you to graph it. 6. This would be 7, this would be 5. It is not including 6. So let's go ahead and make an open circle. And we can see it's headed up the number line. So that's perfect. So anyone who knows how to read math knows exactly what you're saying right there. So again, let's do some more. So here's another one. 14x plus 5 is less than 7, parentheses 2x minus 3. So all they're doing is adding a few more things on there to make the inequality longer. But don't be thrown off from that. That's just testing your skills, that's all. So here we just have 14x plus 5 is less than. So again, we know that this is a parentheses here. So whenever you have parentheses in math, if you have something before it, you have to multiply. 7 times 2x is 14x, and 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. Okay? So we have a unique situation, so this is good that they gave us an example of that. So it does not matter which side I take negative 14x. I hope you realize you have the same thing on each side. So this is going to cancel the x's here, and this is going to cancel the x's here. But we're not done. Bring down what's left. 5 is less than negative 21. That is the statement I'm left with. So you have two choices when your variables cancel. You look at the statement that you're left with, the inequality, and it's either going to be true or false. So we're going to look at it. So remember, this always is headed towards the supposed bigger number. Is negative 21 greater than 5? Well, straight away we know that's false. So that means that since it's false, there's no solution. Okay? So that is what that statement is saying. So it's never going to be true. So if you go back to original statement, no matter what I put in for x, I would have to put the same here, and they would always cancel out. And the statement negative 21 is greater than 5 would always remain, and that's never going to be true. So it doesn't matter what number x is, this will always be false. So I'm glad they threw one like that so that you can see what that means. Okay, let's do another one. 12x minus 1 is greater than 6 multiplied by 2x minus 1. Okay, this is a similar type. So that's good that they did this, so you can see when you have these in homework, you'll know what to do. So 12x minus 1 is greater than 6 times 2x is 12x, and 6 times negative 1, never forget to multiply that too. So again, you can see that you have the same thing. So that means your x's are going to cancel out. So let's look and see what the statement says. Bring it down. Negative 1 is greater than negative 6. So you read the statement, and is negative 1 greater than negative 6? Yes, it is. So that means it's always true. So we would say that all real numbers are the solution. So what that means, it sounds so technical. You'll see like all real numbers, sometimes what they do is they do a big R like that. So what that means is no matter what number I put for x, this side, the left side, is always going to be larger than the right side. Okay, so whether I said 12 and I put a 5 here and a 5 here, it's always going to cancel the x's, and the statement's always going to be the left side is greater than this side, and it's going to be true because negative 1 is larger than negative 6. So it's always going to be true. So the way we say that is all real numbers, a big R, or they can write it as all real numbers. In math, sometimes there's different ways to write things. Just get used to seeing different representations of the same thing. So you're not thrown if you see it one way on a quiz or another way on a test. So those are good examples. We're going to do one quick word problem here. And I'm just going to throw up the one that they have, and we can just read it because it makes it so much easier than me trying to explain it. Okay, solve a multi-step problem. So use the sign shown. So it looks like gasoline 209. Wow, that was quite a while ago. Well, lately it's gone down, so, but before this you didn't see it that low for a while. And a car wash is $8. So use the sign shown. A gas station charges 10 cents less per gallon of gasoline if a customer also gets a car wash, and they do that a lot of times. If you get a car wash, that takes 10 cents off the gas. So people will do that. What are the possible amounts in gallons of gasoline that you can buy if you also get a car wash and can spend at most $20? So you have to know, okay, that's your limit. At most means you have no more money, okay? So $20 is your limit, so that's important. And $2.09 is the price of gas right here. But you are going to get a car wash, and it says that if you get a car wash, you get it for 10 cents less. So $2.09 minus 10 cents, you get it for $1.99. So you always have to write these things and read and underline things so that you don't miss anything, okay? So, okay, they said just what I said here. Then step 1, write a verbal model. So your price of gasoline for you is $1.99 times the amount of gasoline. So we're not calling it G, we're calling it sorry, we're not calling it X, we're calling it G because it suits the problem, gasoline. So $1.99 times the amount of gallons of gasoline, plus you're getting a car wash too. That's the reason you're getting it for $1.99. So you're going to add the car wash. So do you see what we're doing? $1.99 times the amount of gallons you're going to get, plus you're spending $8 because you're getting the car wash, and it's going to be equal to and less than because at most you have $20. So that's the inequality that you're going to set up, and you're going to see this form of, you can see it's equations as we go on, or inequalities. You'll see a lot of this type of setup, and the more you see it, the more comfortable you're going to get with it. So they want us to see how how many gallons you can get of gasoline. So the first thing, so think about it logically. If you've got $20, the first thing you do is run it through the car wash. So you're going to take the $8 away, correct? That's what we're doing. So you have 1.99 times gallons of gas is less than or equal to 12. So you only have $12 left. And every gallon costs you $1.99. So you now are going to divide by 1.99 into 12, and you can see that it comes out to 6.0305. So you're looking at about 6 gallons of gas. That's how much. So for your $20, you get a car wash, get just over, a tiny bit over, hardly anything, of roughly 6 gallons of gas. So hopefully you understand that, and you must probably get one like that for your homework to practice. I know you're absolutely thrilled by that, but we're going to continue with 6.4, and God bless, guys.